Good afternoon, everyone. A very warm welcome to all for the second day of All India Online Physiology Festival 2020. Myself, Dr. Divya, postgraduate student in the Department of Physiology, Lady Hardinge Medical College. On behalf of organizing committee, I would like to thank all the audience and participants for joining with us today's occasion. I hope you all have enjoyed the yesterday's skit event. To start the today's event, I request Dr. Sunita Mondal ma'am, Head of Physiology Department, Lady Hardinge Medical College, and also the organizing chairperson of this festival to say a few words. Ma'am, please. Ma'am. Mondal ma'am.
Hello, yes, can you hear me, all of you?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me, Dr. Divya?
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Divya. A very good afternoon to all present here today on the second day of the very special occasion of All India Online Physiology Festival 2020. On behalf of the whole team of the Department of Physiology, I'm Dr. Sunita Mandal. Welcome you all, the students and the faculties of various medical colleges from all over India. I'm really happy to welcome our distinguished guests who have consented amidst their tight schedule to judge and share every moment of this wonderful function with us. Dr. Basav Gupta, additional MS, is joining us from Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital, New Delhi. I welcome you, sir. Dr. Himani Aluwalia, Head, Department of Physiology, is joining us from Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College, New Delhi. I welcome you, ma'am. Now, I hand over the platform to Dr. Anita and Dr. Madhulika from the Department of Physiology to continue with the program. Thank you. So, Dr. Madhulika and Dr. Anita.
Madhulika, you have to unmute yourself.
Am I audible now?
Yes, yes, you are.
Okay. So, good afternoon all. I, Dr. Madhulika Monga, welcome you all to the second day of our festival. Today, we will enjoy various physiological concepts explained via poetry because it's the poetry category today. So, believing that we have many of the audience who have joined us today and were not with us yesterday, so I would once again like to take this opportunity to thank one and all for supporting this unique first-time attempt of ours to link physiology to creativity. We are truly overwhelmed by the support of our seniors and fellow physiologists across India who not only encouraged and supported us, but also encouraged their students to participate with great enthusiasm. Thank you so much on the behalf of our whole team. Yesterday, we had a creative academic feast wherein 8 teams across India showcased their creative talent in the form of skits. And we had approximately 2,000 viewers who joined as audience. It was an exhilarating experience for all of us here. Leonardo da Vinci said that, and I quote, "To develop a complete mind, study the science of art. Study the art of science. Learn how to see. Realize that everything connects everything else." I unquote. With this festival, we are trying to explore and develop this aspect of interconnectedness of science and art, and in turn, unravel new dimensions of our mind and minds of our students. The participants have submitted their respective entries in the form of video, which would be played one after the other. The time limit for each video is 2 minutes. We have 3 prizes for the poetry competition, first, second, and third, which would be decided by the judges of the day. We also have an audience award, and the link for the same is now open, and it would be closed within 30 minutes of the end of the screening of the last entry. The announcement of all the prizes for all the categories would be announced together on the very last day of our festival, which is 10th December. It gives me immense pleasure now to introduce our esteemed judges for the day. I heartily welcome Dr. Basab Gupta, Additional Medical Superintendent of Kalavati Saran Children Hospital, Lady Hardinge Medical College. A medical doctor with experience in public healthcare and healthcare management for last 33 years in various capacities across India, is presently attached to Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital. He has postgraduate qualification in tropical medicine and disaster management. In tandem with his professional responsibilities, he has a penchant in literature and culture of our nation and other countries. He also keeps himself engaged in writing verses or poems on different topics and also small stories in his leisure time for quite long. His writings are primarily in Bengali and English and also in Hindi. I welcome you, sir, and it is a pleasure to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining us.
Very good afternoon to everyone. It's Dr. Anita Pawar here. It's my privilege to welcome Dr. Himani Ahluwalia, Director Professor and Head Department of Physiology, Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College and Safdarjung Hospital, New Delhi, as our second judge. She's also currently holding a responsibility of being the Registrar of PMC. Ma'am is an undergraduate from Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi, and she's done her post-graduation from University College of Medical Sciences. With more than 26 years of teaching experience, she began her academic journey as a senior resident in UCMS only. Subsequently, she joined as a faculty in our Hardinge, and then she moved to VMC, where she is currently the head of the Department of Physiology. Her areas of research and publications are somato-autonomic attributes of pain, neurocognitive functions, autonomic functions, pulmonary functions, neuropsychiatric disorders like anxiety in adolescent diabetes, and medical education and medical humanities. She is also a member of a curricular committee of VMMC and Safdarjung Hospital for recently launched competency-based medical education curriculum, which was introduced by MCI in 2019. She is a true educationist at heart, and she has a flair, enthusiasm, creativity, and dedication in her teaching style. Thank you so much for joining us today, ma'am. I welcome all of you once more. And before we start with the competition, I'll request all of you to maximize your YouTube screen so that any comments, whoever are posting them, does not hinder the video being screened. Now, without any further delay, I request Dr. Priyanka, our senior resident and a coordinator for the poetry category, to begin with the competition.
A very warm good afternoon to everyone, and thank you for joining us at All India Online Physiology Festival 2020. I would like to thank you, our esteemed director, Dr. N.N. Mathur, Head of Physiology Department, Professor Sunita Mondal, our Professor Madhulika Monga, and Professor Anita Pawar ma'am for giving me the opportunity to act as coordinator for poetry category. We got 30 number of entries for poetry category and delighted with the enthusiastic participation of the UG students pan-India. I would like to remind you all that the voting link is given in the description box, which is not be active and will close half an hour after the live streaming is over. Kindly do vote and support your favorite presentation. So without any further delay, I would like to introduce my first participant, ASK Chaturveda Ruthvik from Government Medical College Nalgonda, and he will be presenting his poem on the topic COVID-19 pathophysiology.
In the sacs of alveoli, type 1, type 2 cells lie. Then invades the SARS-CoV-2 targeting the cells of type 2. Virus enters through ACE2 with the help of TMRP-SS2. Virus multiplies in cell, spreading like a hell. Few virus macrophages and then they release cytokine. Virus declares heyday, macrophage declares mayday. Neutrophils rush on call, rupturing the capillary wall, resulting in edema, leading to high trauma. ARDS-like condition, health on declension, lungs on collapse, life full of mishaps.
That was wonderful poem by ASK Chaturveda Ruthvik. Now next participant is Advika Sareen from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and her title for the poem is Pearls in the Ovary.
Poem Pearls in the Ovary by Advika Sareen, College, Lady Hardinge Medical College, New Delhi. She kept waiting and waiting for months indeed, but all the efforts didn't pay and she didn't bleed. While going to the doctor, she prayed and prayed, but the doctor sadly said, "A hormonal disorder is what you are undergoing. It must be treated or its effects will be disgusting. Physical exercise, weight loss, and vegetables is what she did. Slowly and slowly the symptoms reduced, though people said it had no cure. But she was determined to fight the disease, though it wasn't any ease. Days passed, and it was the D-Day when the ultrasound report came. The doctor explained, "Alas, you are a PCOD survivor," and this is what she aimed. Thank you.
Wonderful performance by Advika Sareen. Now our next participant is Amisha Mankar from AIMS Kalyani, and her topic of the poem is the human perception.
Hello. Today, the topic for our poem is the human perception, and our team Megalo will be presenting it. The human perception. Gazing at the beautiful butterfly. Ever wondered how you see it fly? What a wonderful world we see from the vision of temporal and nasal thee. On retina, the scattered light falls, stimulated gets the optic nerve fast. Falls then the optic chiasma, the great, where crossover of nasal fibers take place. Temporal fibers stay the same tract. Till then, both approach the optic tract, finding superior colliculus on the way, lateral geniculate body implicitly waiting for them. Path is as beautiful as destination, they say. Optic radiation takes all the fame. Destination lies in the occipital visual cortex. Look out your window and find your flex. Numbered by Brodmann as 17, 18, and 19. Contriving the science in nature unseen. So, this was our poem on the visual or optic pathway, presented by the team leader Amisha Mankar and the team member Lipsarani Kumbar. Our team name being Megalo from AIMS Kalyani, second year MBBS.
Well done, Amisha. Our next participant is Ananya from Government Medical College Siddipet, and her title of the poem is Breathing is a Blessing.
I feel an uncomfortable uncertainty. As my breath gets heavier by the minute, I can feel my chest get tightened and my heart rate going up. All this is making me so messed up. I wouldn't know what to say or who to talk to. The next day I went to the doc. He said I had gotten a lung block, that my body was refusing foreign particles, that this asthma was a condition critical. They say my tubes have been swelling, that I shouldn't be running out in the cold dwelling. The pollen causing my nostrils to fume, making my breath to completely go out of tune. This is when I realize breathing is a blessing. Breathing is a blessing.
Wonderful performance by Ananya. Now our next contestant is Aprajita Kale from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and she will be presenting her poetry on phenomenon of varicose veins.
Serpentine woes. As still as the mountain she stands, scalpel, retractor, all ready by her hands. Penetrating the dura, they all hear her say, she does this nearly every day. Rarely does she look down at her own skin, and when she does, it is all worn and thin. Gangrenous, veins bulbous, ulcerate, muscles too weak to tolerate. Her long hours of being stationary mounted pressure over her capillary. Veins stretched but not the valves. Before she knew it, she had swollen calves. No movement and hence no pumping. Nutrient diffusion the edema was preventing. Static blood made her head feel light. Soon her legs were in stockings tight. As still as the mountains, again she stands. Scalpel retractor all ready by her hands. Tumor extracted, they all hear her say. She does the same nearly every day. Thank you.
Well done, Aprajita. Our next contestant is Asmita Suri from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and her topic of the poem is Wharton's Shield.
Good morning, respected teachers, seniors, and my dear friends. Today, I, Asmita Suri, am going to be reciting a poem entitled Wharton's Shield. I am a butterfly in harmony and splendor from autumn till spring. The bridge of isthmus connects my two graceful wings. I reside by the apple orchards, it's a mesmerizing view. Dancing with my friend Ayod, I deliver my 3 honeydews. Betraying me, Ayod and Wolf enjoy chai and coffee. When they're together begins the end of my posse. But when Ayod befriends the guy Jod from Day-2, I become so powerful, the monster in me can't help but grow. Life is such, sometimes even friends turn to foes. Am I destroyed, or does it get grave? Nobody knows. Oh, thy brothers and sisters are attacking their own home. Now in defense, my army of globulins start to dome. Deformed, stunted angel, you are so lazy and dumb. Pale, dry, and hoarse, just because I have been numb. When tides are high, shaky and nervous I get. Thin, hot, and frightened face covered in sweat. I decide the pace, growth, balance, and frame. My strings are held by tiny midgets in your brain. The largest I am in my family of grinds. Keep me balanced, I promise you'll always be fine. Alas, time is up and I must bid goodbye. Can you guess Who am I? Who am I? Thank you.
Well done, Asmita. Our next contestant is Astha from RMC PIMS, and topic for her poem is Lost and Found.
I'm rummaging for something in my mind. The shadow of a recollection I hope I can find. Facts and events are nestled in the hippocampus. Skills and recognition swim in the striatum. Pavlov's favorites never desert me. Semantics, I may have forgotten some. Short-term stretches to long. Memory happens to be elastic. Keep making those connections strong. Synapses, after all, are plastic. Habituated, sensitized, potentiated postsynaptically. All within the cortex. Long-term potentiation with nerve growth factors, also a prime part of this vortex. Memory. It favors youth. Smooth skin, a wrinkled brain. But that thing I was searching for, it slips again like wet soap in wet hands right down the drain. Perhaps it will come back to me when I've lost all working memory. To dementia, to Alzheimer's, senile plaques, neurofibrillary tangles, and the tangle of apraxia, agnosia, aphasia, amnesia. Cholinergics degenerated, reminiscences old and dated. Maybe then we'll use rivastigmin on a smoother brain, more wrinkled skin.
Well done, Astha. Our next contestant is Bhumika Then from HIMS Dehradun, and topic of her poem is Breath.
Hello everyone. Warm greetings to the viewers. I am Bhumika Dhai from Himalayan Institute of Medical Sciences, Dehradun, presenting my poetry on respiratory physiology. I call it Breathe. Permanent resident of the thoracic cage, dozen times a minute I inflate. Centers in the brainstem manage my rate, 18 times a minute when I lift weight. Oh, and after every inflation, I deflate. Interior of me lies a branching tree, through which air flows like a poetry. Half a liter air during inspiration and half a liter during expiration is my normal ventilation. I always keep over a liter of it in spare, for I have an age-old saga with the air. Bronchi, bronchioles and alveoli, spread fastidious as they lie. The zones of conduction and respiration profoundly have functional separation. Across the fine layers of the respiratory membrane occurs the vital gaseous exchange. Betwixt the alveoli and the pulmonary capillary, the partial pressures of the gases vary. Being the principal factor to steer the direction, partial pressure gradient drives the passive diffusion. The process of diffusion, to prevent any priority confusion, is commanded by solubility, ordering CO2 to be the first one to flee. For the indispensable gas we inspire, more masses of land should the trees acquire. I, with these words, deliver a message, grow a tree in every passage. Thank you.
Well done, Bhumika. Now our next participant is Dash Aditya Santosh from RMC PIMS, Maharashtra, and his topic for the poem is Sleep Cycle.
The sleep cycle. Fatigued and tired, I let go of my alert and attentive self, plunging into the realm of non-rapid eye movement sleep. I begin with stage 1 or light sleep. I possess a low threshold of response. Sleep spindles appear on my electroencephalogram now, the protagonist of stage 2. In this truest phase of sleep, I am insensitive to arousal and activation. Stage 3 helps me descend deeper into sleep. The high voltage thrust of delta waves propels me into stage 4 in REM. I am in deep, deep, deep cerebral sleep, where I respond only to vigorous stimulation. On awakening, I am left sans dreams, sans nightmares. Next, I encounter rapid eye movement sleep. They call it the paradoxical sleep because, although it is difficult to arouse me, my EEG reveals a desynchronized pattern, as if I were alert and active. My eyes are bursting with saccadic movements, engrossed in the visual pictures of my dreams. There is a surge of pontogeniculo-occipital spikes. Immediately my skeletal muscle tone drops and I'm snoring away to glory. But this time, on awakening, I face the wrath of my professor and bits and pieces of notes I had scrawled. Hold on, this is not a dream anymore, but me experiencing my very own sleep cycle. Thank you.
Awesome, Aditya. Now our next participant is Epa Kayala Surya Teja from Government Medical College Siddhipat, and theme for her poetry is blood. Well done, Surya Teja. Our next participant is Jagrat Neet Kaur from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and she will be presenting her poem on micturition reflex.
Ma'am, may I go to the washroom? It's an urgent situation. My detrusor has relaxed and urethral sphincter is asking for permission. You are allowed to go, honey, but first project submission. Ma'am, submission can wait, but I'm afraid that's not the case with micturition. That's alright, but what were you doing in lunch? It is 30 minutes long and it takes only 15 to munch. I just wish I could regulate all of you children's renal perfusion rate. That way I could end the syllabus like this and not have to wait. Yeah, right. Their JJ could be positively induced and then in the blood renin the peptide will be diffused. Angiotensinogen would be secreted from liver, the largest gland, and to convert it into angiotensin 1, renin will lend its helping hand. And then comes ACE from renal and pulmonary endothelium. Ma'am, please allow me to go. I'm in a state of delirium. ACE will convert angiotensin 1 to angiotensin 2, and then so many stimulatory signals will be in queue. Sympathetic activity will rise, there will be tubular water retention, Na plus Cl minus reabsorbed and K plus secretion. Adrenal cortex will secrete aldosterone and then retention, reabsorption, secretion will again go on. In arteriolar vasoconstriction, blood pressure will increase. If you let me go, I'll be so much at ease. ADH will go into the blood as and when pituitary the master will instruct, and as a result H2O will be reabsorbed from the conducting duct. All this will cause increase in effective circulatory volume, and this poor kid needs to go to the washroom. Just one last thing, darling, that perfusion of GGA will increase, and so renin from GGA would no longer release. And you can go now.
Well done, Jagrat. Now our next participant is K. Kavya from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and her topic for the poem is What Can You See?
Look ahead, what can you see? A ray of sunshine before me. It goes straight into my eyes to make my mind surprised. This ray gouges my cornea snowy, who refracts right into my aqueous humor juicy. Mr. Iris unlocks pupil, drink light, then let's accommodate in delight. Mary Witch's humor prevents optics collapse. Photoreceptors bipolar ganglionic cells in retina wraps. Stimulates Ross cones to quick signals. Optic nerve relays it direct to CNS with riddles. Occipital sitting relaxed, receive. Duly bubbly brain collects information and perceive. Look ahead, what can you see? A ray of sunshine right under sea.
Well done, Kavya. Our next participant is Kashish Kaushik from Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, SGT University, Haryana, and her theme for the poetry is blood.
Good morning to one and all. My name is Kashish Kaushik and I will be representing Faculty of Medicine and Health Sciences, SGT University, Gurugram. The theme of my poetry is blood. Hope you like it. Carrying your legacy consanguineously. Blood, it's thicker than water. Ergo, beating all odds, it attains victory. As it flows, it ushers in bloom. Little do you know of it till you discover the loss it conversed in the past. Until you realize one day, it's duller, leaving your rain away it casts. But I've seen it change its color. Blood, I've seen it change its color. In all its redness it blooms. Rendezvous with trauma changes it to maroon. When you boil with rage, it blooms. Moribund, black. It has no name. Whether it's under your skin or your kin, its absence leads a death cry. Oh, the betrayal, all akin. Lamentably, it leaves you to die. But I've seen it change its color. Blood, I've seen it change its color. Thank you.
Well done, Kashish. Our next contestant is Mohammad Bilal Asad from Government Medical College, Siddipet, and his topic for the poem is Every Wheeze is Not Corona.
Hey, doctors of the nation, let's talk about respiration. We'll not talk on the bus, coronavirus and the lungs. When the topic at hand, other factors making the lungs bad. With asthma at the top, making the areas flop. Emphysema is next, giving your air sacs a good rest. Hey, doctors of the nation, next is bronchial inflammation. We know it ends with an itis, chronic bronchitis. Let's not forget about lung cancer, the only question we can answer. Abnormal cells spreading like a wave, taking people to their graves. The list goes on for one to stop. Hey, doctors of the nation, the only thing we can achieve to combat this disease. Good habits is the key. No smoke, no tobacco. Prevention is the need for us to succeed.
Well done, Bilal. Our next participant is Mullagiri Manaswani from Narayana Medical College, Nellore, and her topic for poetry is surfactant. Manaswini. Our next contestant is Muskan Fatima Wahab from BMKV Medical College, Salem, and her topic for poetry is speech.
Speech, the oxygen of the mind. The major distinction between humans and other animals is the facility with which humans can communicate. Language incomprehensible, or a word formed on the lips, hung there with a struggle to articulate. Have mercy on patients who are aphasic or dysphasic, because they truly suffocate. What goes on in the brain when a person speaks? Let's investigate. The key regions of the brain in control of speech, the Broca's and the Wernicke's, are real indicators of the asymmetry of the brain. They're almost always dominant on the left. The mental dictionary, the Wernicke's area, is the site of confluence of different sensory interpretations with inputs auditory or visual. Its loss causes inability to understand language and thus leads to a lifetime of almost demented existence of the individual. The motor program for verbalization of speech stored in the Broca's area is transmitted through the facial and laryngeal regions of the motor cortex to the muscles of respiration and articulation. And akin to the skillful fingers of the flutist transforming soulless, monotonous sounds into musical compositions, the Broca's area modulates expired air into meaningful words and complex, organized sentences. Its loss causes agrammatical and non-fluent speech produced with great efforts. Aphasia is a misery without a cure that darkens language, but not intelligence. Thoughts that cannot be expressed still feel beautiful in the mind. Thank you.
Well done, Muskan. Our next participant is Ensai Jyoti Swaroop from SVM Medical College, and her topic for poetry is disorders of speech.
Sleep consolidates learning and memory to the core. Adequate amount promotes growth as hormone secretion is more. Sleep restores strength both physical and mental, enhances the ability to concentrate and makes you gentle. Shh, what's that? The sound of sleep, the ideal which should be long and deep. But do you get enough of it or shy? Because if you don't, let me tell you why. Insomnia is a chronic inability to sleep on opportunity. It is of two types, primary and secondary. The first one may be due to a disturbed cycle. The second may be due to inner conflict and battle. Bruxism is a time when you grind your teeth. What do you dream? Do you bleed? Parasomnic disturbances are a group of things occurring to us. Nightmares, sleep paralysis, sleep behavior disorder among the commoners. Hypersomnia isn't either a good sign. Overactivity of serotonergic neurons of Rafedu defined.
Well done, Jyoti. Our next participant is Nilesh Kumar Yadav from North Bengal Medical College, and his topic for the poetry is Physiorath.
Hey Parth, what do you think of the misery this pandemic has brought to you? Are you the only one, or the rest of the people too? Did you only have to bear the losses, or the migrant laborers lost some too? Definitely some constraints came to you. But didn't you see the cities from which laborers flew? Yes, it is high time for us to come into action. But are you still in the deplorable mental state of suction? Many of the experienced, middle-aged and even young budding doctors succumbed. And even after that, does your any kind of loss makes you numb? And if it does makes you, then bow down to the God for the life which he carried through. What is still there in your mind? Haven't you thought of your cytokines? They have been modulating day and night so that your immune system can fight. Hope some like you had dyschesium, but that might have hurt your tissue myocardium since there had a role of LCAT and STL, and that's the reason your heart didn't fail. So neither crumble up your brain with overthinking, nor overventilate your blood with chain strokes breathing, as both will cause a delayed coordination either in your cognition or in your respiration. Say it to your mind, to your thoughts, your emotions. Don't be mutilating. Don't be prone. You aren't suffering from Lesch-Nyhan syndrome. In life, have you reached nearly 100% saturation? It's ironical. Even your RBCs have failed to do so. If you want the answer, then get away with Corona lag and pack up your bags. Get ready for the college reopening. Some might be thinking, is there any problem with loading unloading? Shh, there is a hint in the blood circulating.
Well done, Nilesh. Our next participant is Nivedita Shringi from Jhalawar Medical College, and her topic for the poetry is cardiac muscle.
See, cardiac muscle say to win the ordeal. We are twin replica, fine between twin, none distinct. I swap impulse with my nearby. You swap air with your body territory. Open and close are your friendly ally. Contract and relax are friends of mine. See. Cardiac muscle say to sturdy veteran, we are twin replica, both of we unflaggingly struggle for cradle mother. Work in group is our character proof. Sensation is my team, squadron is your.
Well done, Nivedita. Our next participant is P.R.K. Tanmayi from Osmania Medical College, and the topic for her poetry is Trying to Catch My Center of Gravity.
I spent my time sitting in a chair, nothing to do or care. I don't want anything to change, but things happening to me are strange. Mask like face, a handwriting with no grace. Can't walk like I did before, nor can I swing my arms anymore. Do not listen to me, limbs my very own, cause unknown. My coordination shows errors. Every now and then I get these tremors. Becomes impossible standing straight. Depressed is my mental state. Like everyone's father and son, I ain't different from anyone. Doctors said rigidity and flexion attitude, non motor features such as anosmia include problem initiating movement echinacea, slowness of movements bradykinesia. Festinant is how white coats rate my shuffling gait. They conclude basal ganglia do not work efficient as dopamine is deficient, all because of some neuronal damage, a curse due to old age. More common in males, famous are the tales. They said I could get a transplant, a second chance at normal life it could grant. The idea of surgery made me lose my cheer. Needles and knives, nothing more, I fear. L-Dopa, a precursor of dopamine, only cure of mine. As month by month passes, it gets more difficult to reach for my glasses. Sometimes, forgetful of my condition, I try to rise from my cushion. And when I realize, I retreat slowly back into my seat. As I slowly go bald, sets in Parkinsonism, what is called.
Well done, Tanmayi. Our next participant is P. Shravya Lakshmi from Government College, Suryapret, and her topic of the poetry is The Savior.
If BP increases, heart rate decreases, says Mary. Carotid sinus reflex got a job to carry. In case your BP rises or falls, carotid sinus says not to worry. Without any further delay, let's go look at the story. I put in my efforts to push the sinus and unmask the spray door which led me to the bus. I travelled throughout the road of the Herring, then moved along the NH9 where NTS button was attention grabbing. Deep inside, I wondered what it does. Instantly, I pressed the button without being more sus. Surprisingly, I was falling on a seesaw and realized I was on CIC when I saw. Subsequently, I lowered the CIC, resulting in lifting up of the VMC. Triggered CIC added fuel to the fire, increasing the vagal tone, while VMC lost its touch, decreasing the sympathetic tone. No less than these, catecholamine secretions also decrease. Well, after I fell on the seesaw, only then I noticed things had changed from what I first saw. Vessels dilated, so peripheral resistance decreases. Synchronously, bradycardia occurs, myocardial contractility reduces. After going through a lot of confusion, finally, as a whole, BP reduction is the conclusion. Everything happened at a drop of a hat, while I left the building with a smile. Suddenly, my mind flashed back. It was recurring syncopes my grandpa had. It is now evident easy opening of the spray doors is actually bad. I urged him not to tighten his collar, or else renovation has to be done, says the scholar.
Well done, Shravya. Our next participant is Terry Soumya from Rural Medical College PIMS, and her topic of the poetry is Red Orb.
The red orb. Discerned scarlet sparkle of the brown eye, perceived by the virtual third eye. What is it that caught its attention in the obscure light with no accommodation? It's the effect of illumination. Pictured away from a yard is the fiercely red orb in the boulevard. Gleaming choroid at the focus is a flex. It's the infinite Bruckner's reflex. Thank you.
Well done, Soumya. Our next participant is Raghunandni Singh from Government Medical College, Kathua, and her poetry is based on Alzheimer's disease.
My humble regards to respected judges. I am Raghunandni Singh, first year MBBS student from GMC Kathua. We're all well aware of the stigma that surrounds the people suffering from Alzheimer's and how the society encompasses a discriminatory behavior against people with dementia. Therefore, I've written this poem to raise awareness in order to reflect and respect those living with dementia around the world. The name of my poem, Remember Me for Me. I'm here to look at my old self. Delusional disorientation is all that's left. But I smile, I laugh, I feel everything. I'm still a human, and this you shall never forget. I may unlearn the face of my daughter, I may take time to follow your lead. I just need a little more of your time. Your humble patience is all I need. I see, I lose my balance sometimes. I trip, I fall time and again. Now this you might not know. I were a dancer in my days. You play a song, I'll sing and sway. This generous lapse of time might have brought some melancholy blues. Alzheimer's is the disease of God. But please, Never forget my cheerful hues. I'm here to look at my old self and I realize there's more to me than my disease. I'm here to say this once and for all. I want you to remember me for me. Thank you.
Well done, Raghunandni. Our next participant is Riddhi Mehta from Lady Hardinge Medical College, and her topic of the poetry is cardiac cycle.
Hello everyone, I am Riddhi Mehta from Lady Hardinge Medical College and I am going to recite a poem, Cardiac Cycle, the Persistent Voyage. Amidst the cardiac cycle is the heart, vital for life to start. Atop of our heart is pericardium core. Here the blood is pumped to make organs function more. It constantly works like shining Rolex, pumps the blood from head to wholex. Circulation of blood from heart to body parts begins from the left where aorta starts. Vital are the coronary arteries as oxygen they provide to tireless heart muscles inside. In every organ is blood vessels lain where capillaries merge and converge into veins. Arriving to heart by the eminent vena cava, blood pours into atrium like lava. At right atrium, oxygen is low. Blood rushes to the right ventricle by nodal tissues through. By pulmonary arteries, blood leaves the heart to arrive lungs where gaseous exchange starts. From the nostrils comes the oxygen, deeply inhaled, while carbon dioxide is slowly exhaled. Thus, from lungs, blood runs to heart for the next cardiac cycle to start. The cycle continues and blood travels its passage, making a headway towards its voyage. Thank you.
Well done, Riddhi. Our next participant is Roshni Rajoria from Institute of Postgraduate Medical Education and Research, SSKM Hospital, and her topic of the poetry is When in workout, your lungs and heart will crave.
Exercise, and your body witnesses a demand and supply mismatch. We need increased oxygen and nutrients, demand the tissues. But supply at the start of exercise remains smashed. Do not worry, the cardiorespiratory system of your body comes to your rescue. So let us give this physiological regulation a brief view. Shooting the blood flow to the heart working muscles is our main target. Increased sympathetic drive is the first factor to donate. Rise in inotropism and chronotropism is the next step that follows. Venous return augments and elevated EDV says a hello. The local effect of CO2H plus and lactate should not be forgotten because they are the ones who cause vasodilation. Increased cardiac output and a dip in the resistance are the ultimate steps to this cardiovascular regulation. Boosting the RMV and shifting the ODC to the right will definitely keep your body alright. Elevated H plus during exercise will keep the respiratory center in your medulla stimulated. Remember, repaying the oxygen debt even after exercise is needed. As per the WHO guidelines, physical inactivity may put people to increased risk of COVID-19. So why don't you incorporate at least 30 minutes of exercise in your daily routine? Do not worry, the cardiorespiratory system of your body is well drilled. The increased supply of both oxygen and nutrients will be fulfilled. Thank you.
Well done, Roshni. Our next participant is Shalinjay Pandya from Government Medical College Bhavnagar, and he is presenting his poetry on ECG.
and big waves, up and down waves, the ECG tells a heart's tale. With bipolar limblets, unipolar chestlets, the ECG tells a heart's tale. With P wave at atrial systole, QRS complex coincides ventricular systole, and T wave falls during ventricular diastole. The ECG tells a heart's tale. When the patient narrates chest pain, the clinician finds heart a bit in vain. Withal, an inverted T wave, the physician's sagacity opines myocardial infarction. If the two are too near or far, the body smells a rat. With tachycardia or bradycardia, the ECG tells a heart's tale. With bundle of Kent or when the transient heart block went, there comes circus movement. The ECG says arrhythmias. When the lanky and gangling T wave crop up, the plasma potassium turns ruggish and pop up. It overflows, overflows, and overflows. And the ECG tells a heart's tale. When the enlarged U wave enter into the picture, withal a depressed ST segment, the plasma potassium is inevitably lethal. It is scarce, scarce, and scarce. The ECG tells a heart's tale.
Well done, Shalan. Our next participant is Shristi Kishore from JSS Medical College, and she'll be presenting her poetry on the narcoleptic's beauty.
Once upon a time, in a kingdom far, far away, a baby was born to King Narcoleptics. But an evil crone cursed Princess Narcolepsia with an HLS switch. Her RAS and lateral hypothalamus were trapped in a glitch. As the young princess came of age, the curse of narcolepsy had her caged. She was falling into REM sleep way too soon, which made dozing hallucinogenic, her dreams quadriplegic, and laughter cataplexic. Mischievous indeed is the gift of sleep, and how the brain works to make it deep. The brain's an electric circuit, connections are broken and made, uses chemical mediators to switch between wakeful and sleepy state. Hypocritin, histamine, and adenosine ensure your sleep-wake cycle remains pristine. Posterior hypothalamus, orexin, and histamine neurons in the tuberomammillary nucleus are of paramount interest when it comes to sleep-related distress. Orexin and histamine are cardinal for wakefulness. Suprachiasmatic nucleus in the anterior hypothalamus maintains a biological clock. Should you be sleeping at this time or not? It keeps a close watch by detecting the amount of light in your vision. Retinohypothalamic tract helps to maintain this rhythm. Between non-REM and REM stages, your sleep alternates. Non-REM has slow brain waves, but in REM they accelerate. In non-REM stage, your sleep is deep in a sense. As in REM, you're always tense. Indeed, her sleep-wake cycle was a royal mess. She longed to be freed from the shackles of EDS. Her hypocritin orexin levels were low, and therefore the neurons responsible for arousal were slow. They failed to activate cortical and subcortical arousal regions, couldn't stop the sleep centers, hence her sleep became her ultimate tormentor. Finally, Prince Orexin came to the rescue and kissed away her curse. Her wake-promoting neurons took a reverse. Their synchronized firing and activated receptor interaction with the neurotransmitters resurrected her sleepy brain, and she wasn't anymore in jitters. She was freed from her cataplexic laughter, and then they lived happily ever after.
Well done, Shrishti. Our next participant is Soumyasri M. from Government Vellore Medical College, and her topic of the poetry is Circus Movements Speak.
Circus movements speak. Kindle your memory of a ride on me, you'll get merry. But when I occur inside your heart, I am a cause of worry. I form when opposing impulses in a ring of myocardium are not cancelling, but indefinitely circling. Your dilated atrium predisposes to me, as a long slow conducting part of the ring causes me. When the same block forms a part of his bundle, impulses reaching from above find it no longer refractory, gives echo beats due to re-entry. This is the real me. That's why I am called the cause of flutters and fibrillations, worrying you with my ACG aberrations. Say the circles movements. From M. Soumyasri, studying first year MBBS in Government Vellore Medical College of Tamil Nadu. Thank you one and all for giving us this wonderful opportunity. Thank you.
Well done, Soumyasri. Our next participant is Tahura Taskeen L from Savitha Dental College, and her title for the poetry is My Dearest Friend.
Hello everyone, this is El Tahura Taskeen doing second year BBS in Savitha Dental College, Chennai. So I'm here today to recite a beautiful poem on my dearest friend. This poem basically signifies how the tear comes, how it defends us from pathogens and persons in a poetical manner. So let's go into the poem. My dearest friend, whether I am downhearted or delighted, elsewhere bouncing through pathogen or person, invariably had you within myself, instantly emerging to tranquilize me, proffering a fragment of yourself. Whether it is by synpropantheolus oxide or hypothalamus or amygdala, they say you get triggered with irritants and emotions, but I say you get triggered with affection, fetching my soul with compadre love, possessing within you the electrolytes and antibodies and lysozymes and amylases, rising from the lacrimal gland you come, confronting against the viruses and bacterium, just to barricade me from getting harmed. Crying is excruciating, is what they say. Tearing away them apart, shattering them in pieces, but forcing yourself from the gland you come, and cascading out below the eyelids, and cheek is where you hand. Oh my dearest friend, are we not charmed to have you within myself? That's it. This is written by El Tahura Taskeen, myself. Thank you.
Well done, Tahura. Our next participant is Eve Halino from Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, and topic for her poetry is the cardiac cycle.
Hello everyone, I'm Avya Halino, a first year MBBS student from Jawaharlal Nehru Institute of Medical Sciences, Imphal, Manipur. And today I'll be reciting the poem The Cardiac Cycle, which is written by me. The cardiac cycle, lub-dhub, beats the heart, beating in a rhythm, bringing you life. The voyage of blood begins, moving in and out the chambers of heart, traveling in vessels, arteries and veins, destined to reach the various body parts. Lub-dhub, back to the heart. A group of cells make heart contract. Pacemakers, they are called in fact. So now let's start with atrium right, where carbon dioxide is high. Blood moves down to ventricle, pumping this blood to the lungs. The oxygen poor blood. Onto the left atrium with blood rich in oxygen, moving in right from the lungs. Down to ventricle it pumps. Aorta sends out blood. Heart muscles relax, filling the heart with blood. Atria contract to fill the ventricles. Ventricles contract to pump blood. One systole, one diastole in 0.8 seconds is all it takes to make a complete cycle. And this goes on and on Until the heart comes to a stop, the cycle continues, the blood runs its course, endlessly pulsing with bodily force. Thank you.
That was wonderful, Abe. Thank you all for watching the live streaming of All India Physiology Festival. I hand over the proceedings to Master of Ceremony, Dr. Divya.
Thank you, ma'am, for coordinating such a wonderful poetic event. I'm still humming some lines of poem in my mind. Congrats to each and every team who has participated here. You all have given a wonderful creative poems today. Now we will ask judges comment. For that, I request Dr. Basab Gupta, additional MS of Lady Hardinge Medical College, to say a few words. Sir.
Well, it was a really wonderful experience. I mean, so much of innovation, online poetry competition on physiology. I mean, it is really unthinkable. I am very much happy and obliged that I am a I participated in this beautiful program. So far as the competition is concerned, participants also showed their innovation, their ideas and their clarity of the concept, their understanding of the subject in various ways. And some have, I must admit that some have crossed the line. I think they went more in favor of pathology part or the medical physiology part instead of clinical physiology. Even then, they have done well, and many of them are really their ideas, innovations, and presentations were really marvelous. And it will be very tough task to decide about the first three. I'm sure that Dr. Himani will also face the same problem to decide about them because everybody has done their metal very well. And physiology in a part of poetry is something, and I was thinking about it while I was listening to them. I mean, poetry, what is poetry? Poetry is the expression, the feelings of your inner feelings, to express that in a rhythmical way, in a melodious way, in with some amount of rhymes in it. That is poetry. And if you think, you'll find poetry in every wake of life. I mean, every walk of life, you will find poetry in the air. You can say it's in the air, it's in the nature. From the morning till night, you find poetry. There is some rhythm everywhere. Nature itself is moving in a rhythmic way. Our body is moving in a rhythmic way. Many of our students talked of heart. That's the ideal explanation, example of rhythmic function, brain. I mean, they have taken the actual grasp of the issues in physiology, and I'm really happy the way it went. And it's the first time. I'm sure our hospital, our medical college and other medical colleges follow the suit. We will repeat it next year, definitely. Corona ho ya na ho, I think we'll continue this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your valuable comment. Thank you so much, sir, for your valuable presence today here. I request Dr. Himani Algolia, Head of Physiology Department, Vardhaman Mahavir Medical College, Delhi, to say a few words. Ma'am, please.
Well, I must congratulate Dr. Sunita Mandal, a very dear friend and a very dear senior of mine, for this marvelous initiative which has been taken by her department, by her team. A special congratulations to Dr. Madhulika. It was such an overwhelming experience and such an innovative thing to do. I mean, academics, we were more focused online academics we have to continue. But I think this has added another dimension to the whole situation of online academics, online extracurricular activities. And that is what Corona has kind of brought out the creative best in all of us as teachers and as students. As far as the poems which were recited by the students, I agree with whatever Dr. Basav Gupta said. It's a very difficult and a very tough decision for us to make while deciding about the winners. But then I would say all of them are. That's of course, few will be getting the prizes because that is the ritual or the ceremony which has to be done when it's a competition. But one thing which really I feel very nice and happy about is when I will share a small incident when I was on the verge of deciding about taking physiology as my career in my post graduation days, when I had to decide that which subject I should be taking to pursue my career in medicine. So I had taken physiology in my as a subject of my choice during my postgraduate days. And one of my very senior teachers, I just went to him and I said, "Sir, I'm in a little bit of dilemma and a little bit of confusion. People are very much they harp on taking up a clinical subject or being a clinician or as the convention goes." So he said such a beautiful thing. He said, "Welcome to physiology. Explore physiology, and you will realize you will find philosophy in physiology, you will find romance in physiology, you will find poetry in physiology." And these were, I'm not exaggerating, these were his words. And I think these students have proved it. And I'm so happy to see that the love which I discovered at such a late stage, they have already discovered it. So, heartiest congratulations to all of you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am, for sharing your thoughts. Thank you so much, ma'am, for raising this occasion. Request Dr. Manvi Singh Mathur, postgraduate student in the Department of Physiology, Lady Hardinge Medical College, to say a vote of thanks.
Can I request Dr. Mandal also to please say a few words before we deliver the vote of thanks?
Yes, ma'am, sure, ma'am.
Sure. Ma'am, please. Ma'am, you're muted. Please unmute yourself.
Thank you, Dr. Madhu. Yeah, it was, I'm at a loss of words. I don't know what to say. It has been an astounding and an exuberant, spellbound 1 hour that we have been spending. And I don't know, I can't decide who to vote and who not to vote.
Yes.
It's going to be really difficult for the judges to decide that. And to top of it all, the poems covered not only the science of physiology, they have covered all aspects of poetry writing, be it the language, the rhyme, the poetic devices, varying from alliteration, personification to metaphor. It was wonderful, wonderful. I must congratulate all the students, our medical students. They have so much literature and so much of poetic this thing in them. It was a wonderful experience discovering it. Thank you, Dr. Madhulika, for pitching in.
Ma'am, thank you so much, ma'am. Ma'am, we're losing your voice in between.
I with all of about 2001 or 2002, when one of our students was presenting a seminar, Himani had come up with a beautiful couplet on a sodium potassium ATPase pump. I would request Himani, if she remembers that, to add a few lines on it. So, it was such a beautiful thing. Can you add some lines?
Yeah. Ma'am, thank you so much for remembering. It's really so nice to hear that you remember those days and you specifically remember my poem or the words which
I do.
Actually, I can't find it, but I still would try to say it out. Another issue is this, that I don't write in English. I write in English, Hindi and English mix. So I'll just, in fact, I'll recite 2 or 3 couplets, which are, which pertain to either PSM or onto medicine. So just, okay, I'll say it out. So, दिमाग का क्या है? दिमाग का क्या है? एकदम सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपीएस पंप की तरह हो गया है। दिमाग का क्या है? सोडियम पोटेशियम एटीपीएस पंप की तरह हो रहा है। घुसती हैं दिमाग में केवल 2 बातें, उससे पहले 3 निकल ही जाती हैं।
Wonderful, ma'am. Absolutely amazing.
घुसती हैं दिमाग में सिर्फ 2 बातें, उससे पहले 3 निकल जाती हैं। और एनाटॉमी में रटते रटते फ्लेक्शन एक्सटेंशन, एनाटॉमी में पढ़ते पढ़ते फ्लेक्शन एक्सटेंशन, हमारे दिमाग पे पड़ रहा है भारी ट्रैक्शन। एनाटॉमी में पढ़ते फ्लेक्शन एक्सटेंशन, हमारे दिमाग पे पड़ रहा है भारी ट्रैक्शन। और आज तक समझ में आया नहीं हमें ये पीएसएम का भेद। आज तक हमें समझ में आया नहीं पीएसएम का भेद। मच्छरदानी में होते हैं कितने पर स्क्वायर छेद। और फाइनल ईयर में रटते रटते तमाम चीजों का डिफरेंशियल डायग्नोसिस, ऐसा लगता है खराब हो चुका है हमारे खुद का ही प्रोग्नोसिस। I try to kind of find my poem which I did have kept it somewhere, so I just remember it. I hope you people enjoyed these lines.
Absolutely, ma'am. It reflects the dilemma of all of us, all undergraduates. I'm sure the undergraduate students would have related to it perfectly.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So
Dr. Manvi, please.
I request Dr. Manvi, sir, to do out of time now.
Thank you for being with us. I am Dr. Manvi Singh Mathur, PG third year from Lady Hardinge Medical College. It is a great honor and privilege to propose the vote of thanks on this memorable occasion. Now, we come to the end of Day 2 poetry presentation of All India Online Physiology Festival. And prior to winding it up, a few words of announcements and warmth to all of you. We hope you all have a very good evening. And on the behalf of the organizing committee, first and foremost, I thank our judges, Dr. Himani Aluwalia, Head of Physiology Department, Vardhman Mahavir Medical College, and Dr. Basab Gupta, Additional Medical Superintendent, Kalavati Saran Children's Hospital, Lady Hardinge Medical College, who despite their busy schedule have found time to grace this occasion. I thank our Director Sir, LHMC, Dr. N.N. Mathur, for his generous support for this festival. No event can take shape without a hard-working leader and organizer chairpersons. My heartfelt thanks to organizing chairperson, the head of Physiology Department, Dr. Sunita Mondal ma'am, for her valuable contribution, guidance, and encouragement in all our efforts. Above and beyond, the backbone of this festival, our organizing secretary, Dr. Madhulika Monga ma'am, Professor Physiology, Lady Hardinge Medical College, and Joint Organizing Secretary, Dr. Anita Pawar ma'am, Professor Physiology, Lady Hardinge Medical College, who went extra miles to make this dream a reality. I owe special gratitude to all organizers, coordinators who worked very hard to ensure that this occasion becomes a memorable success. I thank all the distinguished invitees and participants for accepting our invitation. I also thank all the audience for their interest and attention during the event. Last but not the least, I thank all my colleagues for their cooperation in making this event a resounding success. In the end, a gentle reminder to all of you for tomorrow's event in animation category. Please do not forget to join us. Thank you, everyone. See you tomorrow.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Mani. Thank you, Dr. Basab. It was a pleasure having you with us. Thank you, Mandal ma'am. You lead our way. Thanks so much. And hope to see you all tomorrow again.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Mandal. Thank you, Dr. Basa, Dr. Madhu, Dr. Anita. Thank you so much. Okay. Have a good day.
Thank you, ma'am.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone.